Hello, welcome to our Undisruptible Woman live on Substack and YouTube. For those of you who are joining for the first time, my name is Margaret Spence. I'm super excited. This is our first time streaming to Substack and YouTube simultaneously. So, what are we going to talk about today? Today, we're going to talk about AI failure. Everybody is hyped about the thing that AI is going to do and how great it is and how good everything's going to be. I'm here to talk today about how AI fails frontline employees and how it's going to fail a lot of people in the long run and what that looks like for the average everyday person who's out there working. I'm not talking about the people who are building AI products, the people who are designing AI, the people who are power users every day. I want to talk today about AI's failure for the ordinary Joe and Jane and how that looks in reality for everybody. Because there's a lot of hype around AI. There's a lot of fear around AI. There's a lot of consternation, a lot of people going in a million directions. But there's some key facts that I think we all need to talk about, and we need to be clear about those key facts. And we need to discuss them in a way that people can understand. Ordinary people who are out there working every day need to understand what is at risk when it comes to AI and not think that AI is going to do something that it's not going to do, and also learning what it is going to do and what we need to prepare for. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So the topic is, how do we talk about AI to the ordinary person who we're trying to engage to use AI and to adopt AI into their life? And what does that really mean for the person walking down the street right now who's wondering, what is AI going to do for me? That's what we're going to talk about. And we're going to have a deep dive discussion on this today. And if you're live with me on YouTube or Substack, feel free to join in on the chat. And we want to hear from you and hear what you have to say. All right. So I wrote an article that I published on LinkedIn today. And hey, Jessica, thank you for joining. And hey, Bella, thank you for joining us live as well. Okay, so here is what we're going to talk about. All right. AI is great as a user, but as an employee, AI has the potential to come for your job. And people don't want to come right out and say, AI is coming for your job. They want to use these speaks, what I call these word sandwiches around AI. And if you don't understand the word sandwich, then you're going to get caught in the middle. And so I want to be that practical person. And for those of you that don't know who I am, who have never heard of me before, my name is Margaret Spence. I run an organization called the Inclusion Learning Lab. And we are talent development and HR leaders. And we're at the cutting edge of what AI is going to do to the ordinary person out there in the street right now, walking back and forth, right? And I agree with you, Roxanne. I thought AI has gone way too far now, right? And so I'm going to agree with you that AI has gone too far right now, and we're not sure where it's going to go in the long run. But here's what I want to do today. I want to educate those of you who are listening on what we should be doing around upskilling and training people for the next level of AI. And yeah, I'm going to agree with you. Coding jobs are going to be taken by AI. Absolutely. 100%. It's already happening. It's not that it's going to happen, right? It's not that it's going to happen. It is already happening. And yes, it is sadly that it is already happening, right? It's not that it's going to come down the road. This is not down the road. Let me give you an example. Um, Shopify. All of you have heard about Shopify. If you're on YouTube, you know about Shopify. Um, they are the shopping thing for most entrepreneurs, right? They announced that if AI, they're not hiring anybody if AI can't do it. So AI has to do it. And then if AI can't do it, then they'll hire a human being. So if we think that this is not going to happen to us, then we're sadly mistaken that this is going to happen. The question is, do we let it happen to us, or do we plan accordingly so that we are prepared? And for those of you who are in HR and talent development, who are tasked with upskilling and reskilling people and making sure that they gain the skills that they need, we need to also have a discussion with you about what frontline leaders need, what frontline people need. I'm not worried about what your CEO needs or what your executive team needs. What I'm talking about is, what does the frontline workforce need? So I think when we announce AI training, we are terrorizing people. Let me say that again. I think when organizations announce we're going to do AI training, I think they're terrorizing people. And I think people are hearing, I'm not good enough, I don't have enough skills, I don't have all of that. And so a part of my purpose and the reason why I do what I'm doing is to make sure that organizations keep the human in the human process. We cannot afford, and this is the raising the flag. We cannot afford for frontline work to be taken over by artificial intelligence. What does a single person who needs a job, or a single mom who is trying to take care of her kids, or a person right out of college or right out of high school, where do they work if we take all of the frontline jobs and make them artificial intelligence? Where do they go to work? Okay, let me ask you a better question. Everybody has to have a starting out job, a job that you started, the first job that you have. It prepares you for the future jobs you have. Whether you are going to eventually go work for yourself or you're going to go do something else, you need that entry level job to first say, I can work, I have the skills, I can actually deal with other humans. That's not my parents and my family and my kids and my cousins and my brothers and sisters. So if you are 18 years old and graduating from high school this week in June, right? And we don't make places for you to go as your first job because the first jobs are being taken over by AI, where does this young person who's coming into the workforce, where are they supposed to go get their skills? If we automate every cash register job in all department stores where it's self-checkout, where do I go to learn customer service and customer handling and being able to have that first job where I can talk to someone and say, hey, I understand how to deal with a disgruntled person. I understand how to deal with a person who's elderly. I understand all the parts and parcels of dealing with a customer. If self-checkout is the thing, then how does that actually work? If everything is automated, what is left for the rest of us to do? Are we creating anarchy? What exactly are we creating? And so a lot of these tech leaders are coming out now and telling us the honest truth, which is jobs are going to be lost because of AI automation. I sit in human resources and talent development as a consultant. So I know some of the conversations that people are having. Even the HR people and the talent development folks are scared to death of what AI will bring in their own direction, because there are lots of organizations who have created the bot for HR, and that's going to retool and push people out the door. So tonight, what I want to talk about is two areas. I want to talk about, how do you ask for reskilling from your organization? What does that actually look like? What does it mean to be upskilled? What is the definition of upskilling? How do I ask for upskilling to get more tools that I need? And then how do I listen for cues in what is being said and not take what is being said personally? So, one of the things that we often hear when people talk about AI is they say, oh, it's going to transform your career, right? Oh my God, AI is going to transform your career. It's going to transform the way we do things. What I think we hear when they say AI is going to transform everything is we hear that we're not worthy of work anymore. Because when somebody says they're going to transform everything, I'm skeptical to think that you're going to transform it so that I'm not in it. So I'm not in that mix anymore. I'm not a part of that human equation anymore. Right. And so the question is, am I going to still be a part of that human equation? That is a big question. Am I going to be a part of that human equation? And how does that look in terms of my future? The other thing that I hear people saying is, let's stay ahead of the curve. Let's stay ahead of the curve. You want to stay ahead of the curve. You don't want to be left behind. If somebody's telling you that we need to stay ahead of the curve, trust me, you are already behind. If they're saying you need to be a part of the curve, you are already behind and you're already failing. And that's what you hear. Hey, hip hop lobbyists, thank you for joining our live today. And um, Roxanne, I agree with you. I agree with what you're saying too, is we have to plan accordingly, right? So when somebody says stay ahead of the curve, right? What people hear is I'm already behind and I'm failing. And so we have to frame this differently so that you understand what you need to do. As a regular worker, as somebody working regular job, what do you need to do? What does that look like for you? Right? And so the other thing is we often say, don't get left behind. If somebody's saying to you about AI, don't get left behind, you're probably already left behind, right? If they have to tell you don't get left behind, you're already behind. If somebody's saying to you, we want you to be prepared for change, you're already underprepared. If they're saying to you, you're not productive, AI will make you more productive. What they're basically saying to you is the role you're in is not productive enough, and we're going to find a way to make it more productive. And we figured out that we can't do the human way to make it more productive. We're going to do the AI way to make it more productive. So the way we talk about AI matters, and the way we listen to what is being said about AI really tells us what the future will hold. If the company you work for cares about the human experience, then the discussion they're having is going to be different, right? They're not going to say AI will make you more productive. What they will say is this AI that we're putting in is going to support the role that you're in, and it's going to take away some of the things that is already going on, and it's going to make it better. So yeah, they say, hip hop lobbyists, they say change is necessary. How does that work? So change is necessary, but extreme change is not good for anyone. You can't immediately change everything and expect people to go along. There's a period of time where you say AI is going to be coming in the organization. There needs to be a period of time where I have time to process it in my mind. Here's the thing. Think about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? Every person needs to feel that they belong. They need to feel that they are contributing. They need to feel that they can take care of their family. They need to feel that they are part of something bigger than themselves. They need to feel that their contributions matter. They want to be able to see that there's purpose in their work. They want to be able to see that how they operate every day means something in the grander scheme of things. And so if you say to me, everything that you contributed to this organization over the last 5 years, 4 years, 3 years, 2 years, even a year, even 6 months is not important, a AI automation or an AI agent is more important than what you've contributed. What you said to me is, I don't matter. So yes, change is necessary, and we will have to change with the AI process. We will have to change. We cannot be stuck over here saying, we're not changing. We're not going to do something different. We have to be willing to say, I am okay with change if the change is inclusive of what I need. And that's what we're talking about today. So the question is, if your company, for those of you watching live, if your company says to you, I'm going to implement AI in your department or specifically in your job, what do you say in response? Somebody tell me what they would say in response to that. What do we say in response? Do we say, oh my God, this is not good? What exactly do we say in response to AI is going to be implemented inside of my role? What do we say to that? What is the discussion that we have around that in our company? Right? What is the discussion that we have around that? Is it that we say, all right, the discussion we're going to have is, I want to be reskilled. I want to learn a new skill. The discussion, and let me tell you, the discussion that you should be having is, tell me what skills I need to gain in order to be relevant in this role going forward. That's what you need to say. Tell me the skills that I need to be relevant in this role going forward. Tell me what I need as a contributor, a person contributing to this job. Tell me what I need, and tell me what I need to learn. And so the buzzword that we use when we're developing people at work is upskilling or reskilling. They actually mean two different things. So let's talk about reskilling first, because I think that is important that we talk about reskilling. All right. Now, back a bit ago, somebody said coding jobs are going to be taken away. There was a conversation here about coding jobs will be taken away. If a coding job is taken away, that's considered reskilling. So if the job is completely eliminated by AI and the job no longer exists by AI, then the terminology is reskilling. How do I take what your knowledge is right now and find you another occupation that you can utilize your current knowledge in the new occupation? That's called reskilling. That's where we say, all right, you walk into a department store and they've gotten rid of all the cashiers. So where did the cashiers go? What job did they get? That's when we say, all right, we're going to offer some classes to those cashiers and we're going to make them merchandisers, or we're going to make them into another role. We're going to put them into some additional role that's going to make them ready for work. That's what that says. Okay. That's called reskilling. There's now upskilling, which is the other side of the coin. So there's reskilling and there's upskilling. In upskilling, you're basically telling me that I'm going to get AI training and I'm going to be a power user of the AI product as a part of my work every day. Right? So that's where, like the hip hop lobbyist said, that's where the necessary change comes in. That's where that comes in, is that necessary change, where I am going to now become an expert at using AI technology every day. I'm going to use AI technology every single solid day. And they're going to teach me the AI technology so that I'm better at using the technology to make my job better. And so I may have 20 AI agents that I am monitoring every day that's doing a workflow process, and I'm able to manage that as well as keep my regular work going. or the AI agents take away the mundane parts of my job, and I get to do the high level pieces of my work. That is called upskilling. So I've taken you from a base knowledge of AI, and I've given you this upskilling, and I've given you this additional tool so that you have not only the base knowledge of AI, but you can use it at this very higher level. Only 11% of workers are going to get that kind of skill upskilling. 11%. That's the number. I didn't come up with that number. That number came up from lots of studies that's been done about this. 11%. The other 89% are going to be reskilled, meaning the job you're in right now won't be there in 5 years, and you will need to learn new skills, new things to do in order to continue to working in the world of work. Those are the two competing things that I want everybody to understand. It's two competing things. There is upskilling and there is reskilling. And reskilling is not the same as upskilling. Right now, 62% of workers globally will need to be reskilled, meaning the job they have right now will not be available once AI's automation takes that job away. The question is, if that number is that high, if that is the truth, that number is that high, then what are we going to do with that many people? That's the alarm. That's the 20 station alarm. That is the global alarm. What are we going to do with those people if the number is that large? And if we know that the number is going to be that large, because Anthropic CEO came out last week and he said, here's the reality, I think this is going to happen. Recently, another CEO came out and said, yeah, we're going to have a lot of job losses because of automation or because of AI agents or because of the next iteration of the AI process. Okay, great. I hear you. But what does that really mean for the average person? And so today's live is talking about the average person. What do you need to ask for? You need to determine if the job you're in is going to be upskilled, meaning you're going to learn a lot of AI, how to in AI, if you're going to be upskilled, or if you're going to be reskilled, meaning your job is going to be gone and you're not going to have that job available to you. And you will need to be reskilled in order to do another job that's not the one you're doing right now. And that is the change that we're talking about. That's the change. That is the upskilling change and the immediate change in the process. So I really wanted, with this live, to explain that in the most simplistic terms so that everybody understands the difference between upskilling and reskilling and how we talk about AI matters for frontline workers. The majority of frontline workers, people who are working every day, who are not making millions of dollars, right? Those of us who are out there doing the jobs that sometimes others don't want to do, the customer service job, the telephone answering, the clerical support role, the front desk role, all of those roles that we are doing that someone might decide can be automated. Let me give you an example. I went to have blood work done a couple weeks back in February. I went to have blood work done. And typically when I go to the lab, there's only 2, LabCorp and Quest. So I was at Quest, and you go into the lab and you typically go to a receptionist, and the receptionist says, hi, how you doing, Margaret? Thank you for coming. Can I have your insurance card? That did not happen. I walked in and there was a kiosk with a tablet, and I went up to the kiosk with the tablet. I had made an appointment. It said, scan your code. So I scanned the code, and it popped up and populated my name. The first thing I had to do was put in my info, and then it scanned, and then the name came up. I had to register myself. I put my name, my address, my this, my that in, all of this stuff. It asked me for my insurance card. I put it under a camera. It took a picture of the front. I turned it over. It took a picture of the back. It then said to me that I had a copay. I swiped my card and paid the copay. And it said, sit down, have a seat. We'll be with you in a few minutes. And eventually a woman came to the door and called my name and went back, and I took my blood, and she said, thank you, have a good day. And I walked out the door. At no point did I get greeted. Did somebody say hello to me when I walked in the door? There was nobody. There was just an open room with a kiosk. There's several kiosks. It was 3 or 4 kiosks. And my job was to go up to the kiosk and put my info in and make my appointment and confirm that I was standing there for the appointment. Now, my dad is 96 years old. If he had gone to that lab, he wouldn't have known what to do with that kiosk and how to get himself checked in for the appointment, because he wouldn't have known how to do it. So as much as automation is out there and it's going to, quote, come for our jobs, there are still levels of automation and levels of things that cannot be done. So I want to talk for a second about all the new graduates, the people who are walking out of school right now. You've walked across the stage, you've got your cap and gown on, you're super happy. Oh my God, this is great. I've got this wonderful job. I was on LinkedIn and I saw one of my friends posted about her daughter graduating, and the daughter graduated with a degree in marketing and social media marketing. And I thought, okay, did somebody not tell her that social media marketing can almost be 100% automated by a bot right now today? And the odds of getting a job in social media marketing with a bachelor's degree is probably nil to void. That's a discussion that we're not having with young people and their parents around what the future of work looks like. And that is a discussion that we need to have with parents, because parents need to understand that if you have a young child right now, if you have a young child, the work that that young child is doing will not be available 5 years from now. So the child that is entering kindergarten in August or September, right, will exit school in 12 years with a complete different world of work. The problem is the education system has not changed to meet the oncoming future of work. We are still teaching children the same way and expecting them to go into the same jobs and expecting them to come out in 12 years in the same environment that they entered school in. And that is not going to happen. So the AI discussion, the way we talk about AI, needs to change. First off, you cannot fear it. The fear around, oh my God, AI is going to come. AI is already here. Get rid of the fear. I don't want to use it because I'm afraid of putting my information in it. They already have your information. You have a cell phone in your hands. Somebody's tapped into that cell phone already. They already have your information. So you might as well learn to use the system that's been created. I'm afraid I'm going to get it wrong. Nobody knows what they're really doing. Let me be honest. The only people who understand AI at its furthest degree are the people who are actually creating the AI models every day. Those of us who are end users, we are learning on the fly. We are learning with in the air, right? Because we can't even land the plane. We are learning in the air, right? Every day something new comes out. The adaptation around AI is rapid. There's nothing that's been adapted at this rate, at this fast ever. And so the adaptation rate is huge. The rollout of the software, of the process of the UI is just fast. The adaptation rate can't even keep up. The people who are using AI can't figure out what's coming next before the thing arrives that is coming next. That's how rapid this is going. That's why it's imperative for us to not become like hostages to this process. We have to be ready for this. We have to be educated. We have to get out there. Coursera has a lot of free courses on AI. We have to get out there and learn as much as we can. Invest maybe $10 on Udemy and go and take a course on AI so you learn it. Invest a few dollars on Coursera and take some certifications around AI so that you are better at what you're doing, right? Maybe even go out and take some free programs. Come onto YouTube, look at free programs that people are talking about so that you are familiarizing yourself with this technology, that we are not at the mercy of the technology. The technology is there to guide us. Because at the end of the day, we are the end users. And the way we talk about AI is going to ultimately affect us. We cannot see it totally in the negative, although there's lots of negative about it. We can't see it totally in the positive, even though there's a lots of positive about it. We have to remain neutral in the middle and be skeptical around it, but still be educated in it and use it as much as we can. AI needs to be a part of our daily discussion with our children, with our family, inside of our communities, with our friends, at our employment. It needs to be a discussion. It cannot be a fear-driven discussion. It has to be, what can I do proactively to learn more, to skill myself, even if, and this is a critical piece, even if your employer is not offering you reskilling or upskilling, it is your job to determine your future. It's not your employer's job to determine your future. Your employer's job is to hire you and ultimately fire you if they decide you don't need to work there. Your employer's job is not to help you figure out the middle. It's your job to figure out the middle. If you're hearing on every social media platform and every part of the process, AI, 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 and you choose to say, I'm not going to learn that. I'm going to sit over here. I'm not doing that. Then you're setting yourself up for failure. That's it. I don't know how else to say it. You're setting yourself up for failure. So let me sort of wrap this up. Any questions anybody has, any other thoughts about what I'm talking about, feel free to put it in the chat. I'm happy to have the discussion with you. So here's something that I want you all to leave with, okay? If you are in HR or talent development, if you are the one who has the task of upskilling and reskilling your workers, your employees, the people who work for you, then I want you to understand how to communicate with them about upskilling, right? You cannot say transforming your career with AI, right? What you need to say is, we're building on your current expertise with the AI tools, right? You can't say stay ahead of the curve. You need to say keep your skills current with industry changes. You can't say don't get left behind. What you should say is, we want to prepare you for these changes and for the future, right? We can't say to frontline employees, AI will make you more productive, right? What we need to say is, AI can help streamline some of your daily tasks, and it can help you focus on what you do best, right? We can't say to people, embrace the future of work. They don't want to hear that. What they want to hear is, what we are doing right now in our evaluation of your role and bringing AI into the organization, we're here to prepare you for how work is going to evolve in our industry or in our company. Okay? We cannot say unlock your potential with AI, right? We have to say AI tools can support the work you're already doing so that people feel vested in the process of the upskilling of their work. Right? So when we make announcements, we have to be really clear. I developed a free handout called 15 toxic AI phrases and how to rework them. And I'm going to put the link into both the Substack and into YouTube for everyone to download that and look at it. There are 15 specific phrases. And the way that the download is designed is we have what you say. When you say this, your employees hear this. And you need to say this instead, so that people are very clear and buy into AI upskilling and reskilling, rather than us making them feel inadequate with the words we use. We use different words so that people are vested in their own development and their own skills development around AI. And if we can do that, if we can get people vested, if we speak to people with honesty, with clarity, with determination, with clear expectations that the AI is going to be a part of their day to day. If we do that, people will buy in. If we don't do that, what will happen is they'll cross their arms, they'll come to whatever thing you want them to come to, but they won't learn and they won't leave that training that you're offering them with any additional knowledge more than what they have right now. And that's the critical piece. If we want people to buy in to the AI training that we want to offer them to make them more skilled for the future, we have to stop speaking to them as if they're inadequate right now. We have to start speaking to them as if they're adequate, and as if what we're asking them to do is upskill. We're asking them to reskill and upskill, but we're really asking them to be open to learning. That's really what we're asking people. When we say we want to train you in AI, what we're really saying to them is we want you to be open to learning something new. And just as the comment was, change is necessary, we want to say change is necessary, and we want you to be a part of the change. We don't want you to be booted out because change has happened. And in order for that to happen, we need you to be vested in learning, right? And so we also need to think about some other things. Like, if a person is in your organization and they already have maybe an underlying neurodiversity, or they have underlying learning capability issues, how do we upskill them with AI and still meet them where they are? That's a whole nother video that we need to talk through. But for right now, I think the messaging and how we message AI to frontline employees, the people who are working every day, the people who are worried about paying rent, the people who are worried about taking care of their kids, the people who are worried about paying for medication, the people who are worried about their health insurance or their health or their parents or anything else. And we start coming with our happy language of, oh my God, AI is going to make it great. That's not what people are hearing. What people are hearing is, I need to pay my rent. And it sounds like this AI is going to put me out of work. And it sounds like you're about to give me something I can't do. And at the end of the day, I might not have a job. And that's what people are hearing. That's what they're hearing. So we have to change the way we message it. And for those of you who are worried about your job and worried about AI taking your job, let me talk to you, because it's a different conversation. It's your job to manage your career. It's not your company's job to manage it. It's not your mom and dad's job to manage it. It's nobody's job except yours. At the point where you get a job, where you are gainfully employed, it is your job to manage your career. Period. Full stop. Nothing else. It's your job to determine where your skills are and what you need in terms of additional skills. It's not your company's role to do that for you. It is your job to manage your career. And if you're managing your career effectively, and you're doing a good job of managing your career effectively, what will happen is you will ask questions. You will ask the question, is AI going to be implemented here? If it is, what do I need to learn? Where can I learn it? What courses are you going to be offering? Can I sign up? I'm raising my hand for that training. I'm raising my hand to participate. I'm raising my hand to be a part of this. And if you're not doing that, then you're actually setting yourself up for a disservice. You're doing yourself a disservice by not doing that. So it's not your employer's job to upskill or reskill you. it is your employer's job maybe to upskill you if they think you need additional skills because they're going to implement some automation. But we all know not everybody's going to get that upskilling. So do you sit there and wait for them to lay you off or cut your position because it's been automated? Or do you take the time, an hour or two every day, to go out and learn about the AI, learn how to use it, learn what it's doing, how you can do it, and become your expert on your own? That's the question. We either decide that we're going to be roadkill or that we're going to be walking on the side of the road and not be roadkill. That's really it. This can run us over, or it can be the greatest opportunity for us to build a different type of career. I think we have to be willing to let go of what we know or what we think we know to go someplace that we really may not know everything, and be willing to make that transition between what we know and what we're comfortable with right now and where we need to be across the board. So there's a necessity, an actual necessity, for us to look at the work we're doing differently. No one should be tied to a position or a job title. What we need to say is this job going to be around 5 years from now? And if it's not, what can I start doing right now to gain the additional skills I need so that I can become employable or remain employable for the long haul? If I am in a customer service role that I know can be automated, I know there's an AI agent that can do what I'm doing, then I'm going to take the necessary steps to make sure that I am gaining the skills that I need. I'm going to say it again. It is not your employer's job to give you skills. Your employer didn't give you the skills when you got hired by them. You had the skills when you walked in the door. While you're working for them, you gained some additional skills, right? But at the end of the day, your employer's job is built on profit. And on some companies, it's not built on people, it's built on profit. And what is going to happen as this AI discussion speeds up over the next 3 to 4 years, what's going to happen is we're going to see the companies who are driven solely by profit and who really don't care about people, and the ones who are vested in people and use profit as to enhance their people. That's what's going to happen over the next 4 to 5 years. We're going to see this divide happen, where the companies who are driven by profit will implement AI to the point where they no longer need as many people, and they will drive the numbers so that they are spending way less on people and more on automation. And then we will see other organizations that say, we will maintain our people and we will also have automation. And so we have to get to really some kind of a discernment area where we really focus in on, is my company investing enough in training me to be ready for the future? And if they're not investing enough to train me for the future, how do I invest in myself so that I am trained for the future? That becomes the discussion that we have when it comes to AI and AI automation long term. So again, if you're watching live, drop a comment in. If you're watching this recording or the clips from it, feel free to drop a comment in and talk about it. I'm going to wrap up for today. If you have any questions, please put it in the chat. Here's what I know. AI can be our best friend. AI can be our nemesis. But it's up to us as the humans in this process to determine what the future looks like. So thank you for joining me on Substack Live. On Substack, I have a Substack, which all of you can join. Substack, it's free. I have a newsletter called The Undisruptible Woman on Substack. I'm on YouTube at Margaret Spence. I am on LinkedIn at Margaret Spence. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to put a link into the comment for the download that I talked about. The download is called, it's an AI communication metrics. And it really talks about what you say, what your employees hear. So if you're in talent development, that will be available. I will put the link into the the show notes at the end of the recording. So I will be live a couple times a week, both on Substack, YouTube, and on LinkedIn, talking about AI and the AI disruption and how that will work long and short term. So if you want to check back, join me live, ask questions, send me comments. I'm happy to answer them. Thank you for all of you who joined live today. I appreciate the comments and everything you put in. See you again soon. I think the next one, we're actually going to talk about maybe your career and how that looks in real life. We'll probably do a career program on Saturday. So take care, everyone. Thank you on Substack. Thank you on YouTube. We'll see you again soon. Margaret Spence, the Inclusion Learning Lab. I'm on Substack at the Undisruptible Woman on Substack. Look for me, Substack Margaret Spence, and on YouTube, Margaret Spence. Take care, everyone. Bye.